And that particular song there, From a Distance, it's one of the most loved songs that's ever been recorded, that, and it's a beautiful number. Now let's talk about kickstarting a concert. Now I understand production involvements these days can come at a cost, and it can blow out a budget, and I guess over there it's no exception. I mean, when you take into account equipment, rental amplifiers, and engagement fees, musician fees, mastering, also, gee whiz, it's just endless. Now, you've come up with this concept, kickstarting a concert. Tell us the whole concept behind this.
Okay, so basically, what has happened, and this is how a lot of fans in America and a lot of fans in Canada and indeed Australia have come to know the likes of myself and Celtic Thunder in the past, was through public television, and where we put together our show, our music show, and then we went to public television stations and they took on the show and then they aired it, and of course if it airs well and it's received well, it's shown over and over again. On the back of that then, local promoters will book the artists, to come and tour in their local regions. So what I have done since leaving Celtic Thunder, I had obviously built up a good profile, as we talked about earlier on, through Celtic Thunder, and I got to do a number of tour dates throughout America and one or two in Canada. As of yet, nothing in Australia, but that's okay, we'll get there eventually. But the point though being is that what we've discovered since leaving Celtic Thunder and since trying to develop the solo project here in America in particular, is that in order to get tour dates and get promoters interested, we've got to have the show, my show, airing. Do you know what I mean? There needs to be something on television. There needs to be something that, attracts the interest of the general public. So in order to put together the production, the situation is with these public television stations is they've got no budget. They literally just don't have a budget for you to go and make a special. So in order to do it, you've got to raise your own funds. As you've touched on already, the costs of making these productions are quite astronomical, and it's like how long is a piece of thread. The more money you have, the bigger the production is. The better the production is. You've got to pay all the people that you mentioned. You've got to also pay for the rights of the songs that you're singing. You've got to pay endless amounts of things, and then of course distribution, etc., etc. So because there's been so many cutbacks on public broadcasting in particular, the funds just aren't there for them to support me. So I have to do it all on my own in order to do this. I want to do it obviously because I want to have my own TV special, but I also want to be able to visit all the regions around America, Canada, and indeed Australia. And so I came up with this. There's a website called Kickstarter.com, and I have a program running on that where fans or people that want to support me can go online and make a donation towards the cause. For every donation they make, there are incentives. So you can make as little as $1 a donation, but hopefully we have incentives starting from $25 all the way up to $10,000. And basically it's a way of fans or people that want to support the arts, support music or public broadcasting in particular. It's a way of them getting involved, getting something in return, and feeling involved in the music industry and feeling that they're involved in a project, so to speak, with an artist that they admire or they like, or whatever the case may be. And so far we've been doing great. Here's the catch. If you set a target and you set it up online, you put it up online, if you don't hit your target, you don't get a penny. If you hit your target, you get the money that's been pledged, and it can keep rising, but you only have a certain amount of time. So we have until the 27th of October to hit our target of $50,000 US dollars. At this current moment in time, I believe we're at $33,000, which is a huge amount already of support. To believe that somebody that's prepared to put money in their hand in their pocket to help me in my career has been overwhelming. I mean, moving to a huge extent as well, because at times, as you can imagine, going from a huge production like Celtic Thunder, where you wouldn't have to think about this, or the cost or whatever else. You're just told to turn up, and then everything's paid for. It's a huge production, and it's on air, and you don't think about it. So to walk away from that was a huge gamble. And at times I often ask myself, God, what was I doing, Mother of God, But I believe in myself enough to kind of take this gamble, and I have taken the gamble. And thankfully, the support has carried over, and I've got phenomenal support. As you know, one of the very strong fans of mine, a woman called Rosie, contacted yourself in Australia, and so I have people like her throughout Australia, America, and Canada that are really helping and looking to make this happen. So we're trying to spread the word, and hopefully people will go on to Kickstarter.com and look up Paul Byrom and pledge something toward the cause. Because, as I said, this is something that I can guarantee will go a long way. It's not just helping me get a TV special, but it's helping me in my career, and hopefully I can guarantee it'll be a good show. I mean, I've already had the commitment of Phil Coulter being involved. I've one or two very special guests lined up to join, and a full orchestra will be on stage as well. So it's something that I think, in this day and age, there's not a huge amount of shows being put on the television where they're absolutely 100% live and good quality music that'll appeal to hopefully all members of the family. And that's the goal, and that's the target. And we're 23 days to go. We're about $20,000 short of hitting the target. So I'm really hopeful that we're going to get
Well,
there.
you got the willing and the determination in pursuing this, and it's an awesome project. And the concept of doing a performance can be horrendous, when you think of the setbacks. But gee whiz, it's just incredible what you've got to go through just to put on a performance, just behind the scenes, and the involvement is just amazing.
Yeah, it's eye-opening to me even, and I've been in, as I said, the business for donkey's years at this point. And I mean, recording albums, etc., they're expensive, procedures, and I've done it all myself up until this point. I've raised the capital myself, and I've always done it myself, so I'm very proud of that. But sometimes it gets to the point where you're like, okay, I need a bit of help here. I'm not able to do this on my own. I am, I suppose, a very proud person, and my mother always said to me, pride comes before your biggest fall. So, never be afraid to ask for help. And so by asking for help for this, it's taking a lot out of me to do. Do you know what I mean? But, I think people can see that it's not a begging. I'm not on a corner with a tin cup. People are getting stuff in return for their pledges and their donations. And I think fundamentally long term, they're getting to see a production, hopefully, that they will enjoy and feel a part of. And I think that's kind of nice to be involved, or to be able to say that they're involved in the art.
Now, Paul, I understand if people have a generous donation, it's all tax deductible.
I'm not too sure. I'm not an accountant, and so I can't back you up on that. But as I said, it's one of those things. I've put it up there, and with $33,000 already pledged, I've been very blessed, and I'm very, very grateful to everybody that has. And as I said, I'm hoping that it'll continue to grow. And as I said, the more we get in, the bigger the production will be. Okay, now I understand you got 16,000 followers on Twitter, which is quite enormous, isn't it? Well, I'm delighted. But the great thing about it is, okay, I don't know all the 16,000 people, and I don't get the Twitter thing. I mean, I try to keep it interesting and fun for people. I try to give them an insight into my life. A lot of people enjoy it. Some people find what I say or do annoying or aggravating, and they come back at me, and that's fun as well. That's fine. I have my opinions, and that's all great. But it's fun, and it's a great way of getting to know people, and I, recognize an awful lot of the faces then when they turn up at the concerts, and I've built a relationship with an awful lot of fans right across the world, like, even in parts of Europe as well. So it's a wonderful way of keeping in touch, getting the word out there, getting information out there. It's twitter.com/Paul Byrom if anybody is listening and wants to follow along. And it's the world is getting smaller,
Indeed, it is.
Here we are talking,
and people can get
we're
it.
talking from New York, and you're in Australia, and it's fantastic. I'm really excited about getting down to Australia.
No doubt about that.
Why am I to do this?
Now, Paul, if people wish to get on your website, they can obtain your merchandise and everything like that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Where there's a will, there's a way. Isn't that what they say? So www.paulbyrom.com That's my official website, and all my official information, etc., will be on that. I also do live chats. I'm on the Facebook page.